Good afternoon. I'm Tom Remington, and welcome to an episode of Open Air with Tom Remington. It's, what is it? It's Friday, November the 20th? Man, where's the time gone, huh? Hey, you know, this morning as I was waking up and doing my usual morning things, I had Fox and Friends on, and they had a panel on there, and forgive me because I didn't take notes and pay that close attention until I heard some of the stuff that was going on. So I can't tell you the names of the people that were on this. There was a three-person panel, and I do know one of them was Bill Crystal, I think, from the Weekly Standard. And anyway, they were discussing various topics, and one of them was about the new Senate health care bill that Dirty Harry Reid is going to try to strong-arm through Congress here on Saturday, or at least get a vote to open up discussion on it. So they were talking about this supposed $100 million bribe that's built into the health care bill for the state of Louisiana, which everybody knows that the Democratic senator down there, Mary Landrieu, has, you know, she's kind of hedging on where she wants to vote on this healthcare bill. So they figured, you know, okay, give her $100 million, right? That'll buy a vote. Well, anyway, so they were talking, and that's not why I'm here, is to talk about that aspect of it as much as on the panel they were talking about whether or not this was a good thing, an ethical thing, a legal thing to have in the bill. And what was interesting was Bill Crystal said, you know, no, it wasn't, and he was called on that, say, well, Republicans have been doing it for years, and he said, yeah, exactly. You know, he said that doesn't mean it's right. You know, they shouldn't be doing it then. But the interesting part was, you know, the other two people basically said, well, you know, hey, it's been going on for years. That's how business is done in Washington. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem of what's wrong with Washington and why it's broken. But why did neither of the other two people say, well, it's always done, you know, it's been done that way in Washington for a long time, but we would like to see that change. So obviously not. So, you know, it's like, geez, you know, people have been raping and murdering, you know, other people for a long time, but that doesn't make it right, does it? You know, anyway, that's just one of those things. You know, I was reading, I'm kind of bouncing around here, this kind of my, I guess, video version of Random Thoughts, if you will. And speaking of Random Thoughts, I was over looking through some of Thomas Sowell's writings, and if he's not a regular reader, if he's not on your regular reading list there, he should be. Terrific stuff. But I was reading, he had a little column last week, I think it was, about he periodically does his Random Thoughts, but I wanted to read his first paragraph, which I thought was pretty good. It says, if politicians stopped meddling with things they don't understand, there would be a more drastic reduction in the size of government than anyone in either party advocates. You know, which is so true. And I'll go a little bit farther. If politicians stop meddling in stuff they don't understand, we could do away with Washington. How about that? The other, I was also reading about people taking the moral high ground, and somebody was saying that they get emails all the time from liberals who always seem to be taking the moral high ground, and I don't know if that's true or not, but in this person's case that it was, and I got giggling about it because, you know, talk about liberals and their moral high ground, to me it's kind of like It's here's a guy standing ankle deep in a pile of manure, and the person taking the moral high ground who's in ankle deep in the same manure, but he decided to go in head first. And anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, people that have no moral fiber at all, they tend to be the first ones to invoke the moral high ground, isn't it? Because they go in head first, but they get their feet sticking out. Hey, and did you hear the thing about boy, I don't know, somebody hacked into the computers, whatever, and it slips my mind right now the name of it, but one of these huge global warming advocacy people that, they're supposed to be keeping stats and, proving their theory of man-made global warming. And it seems that there might be a possibility that these hacked emails reveal that there was some cheating going on. If you can imagine such a thing in this country, in this day and age, dishonesty and cheating, I don't think Al Gore would approve of that. After all, we just found out yesterday that the center of the earth is millions of degrees in temperature. Yeah. Hey, you know what else? What have I got for time here? Oh yeah, I got just enough time to finish off with this little tidbit. I must have been raised. I guess if I was raised today the way that I was as a kid, I'm sure they'd lock my parents up in jail. Because they actually taught me right from wrong and that sort of stuff. I grew up very poor. I mean very poor. I grew up with an outhouse. I lived in the country. I almost can remember when we didn't have electricity, and I'm not that old. I'm only 57. But not quite. But we didn't have indoor plumbing for many years. Anyway, not to get on to that sort of thing. But one thing that I was taught is that it was wrong to owe a man something. The Bible even says, "Owe no man nothing." But our society, of course, has gotten to the point where our whole economy is based on borrowing instead of saving, which is terrible. But does it bother anybody else when you see these or hear these advertisements on radio and TV? Here's one. If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt, call us today and we'll show you how you can reduce that debt by as much as 50% or more. Okay? So here we've created laws and guidelines so that people can borrow more money than they'll ever pay back. And then we reward them by telling them, oh, well, that's okay. We'll cut that in half, and you pay us back just half what you borrowed, and we'll call it good. Yeah? And it's the same thing with the IRS. See these ads all the time. We have such a good reputation working with the IRS. Call us today. If you owe the IRS back taxes, we have clients who have saved millions and millions of dollars by not paying their back taxes. I don't like paying taxes as much as the next guy, but you render unto Caesar's that which is Caesar's, right? I don't know. Hey, that gotta run. Go out and have yourself a nice day, and we'll see you next time on Open Air.